Good morning, everybody. Lee Brower here, and welcome to this week's edition of Meaningful Monday. I am grateful to be here, and I am glad to be here because what do we always do? How do we always start? We always go big. We begin in gratitude, right? So today, I want to say that thought about this a lot, and it came from a quote from Jim Rohn, but I want to say I'm grateful for lessons that come in unexpected ways. Grateful for the courage of young adults, for example, who have faced cancer head on, and grateful for the moments when a new perspective opens the door to new strength. We can learn a lot. One year after Nick passed away, my wife Lori and I volunteered to do something that he had enjoyed, and that was attending high adventure camps for young adults who had faced cancer. Now, the first thing they did when they came to camp is unusual. Most of them show up with a name tag, but this time they throw the name tag away. They get them in small groups, and they come up with a nickname for each person that means something to them. And so that becomes their identity for the whole week. And we don't even know their real name. Why do they do this? Because so many of these young adults have been known only as the patient or the one with cancer. You see, their entire entity, their entire identity is wrapped in illness. But at this camp, you get a fresh start, a chance to see themselves differently. So that's how we met Dak, who came in as Sarah, but came into their new name was Dak, or Nate, that became Scooter. So I'll never forget one moment talking to Scooter. Now, Scooter was a strapping, strong, early 20s something, very athletic guy that had a very, very tough battle with cancer. And he's looking at the wall. This is a rock climbing camp. And so he's looking at the wall and he says, I was looking at that wall thinking, there's no way in the world. There is no way in the world that Nathan can climb that. And then he paused and he said, but Scooter can. But Scooter can. Now, that single line, Nathan couldn't do this, but Scooter can, reminded me of that Jim Rohn quote that says, when people ask how life is, say terrific. When people ask how you feel, say wonderful. Because when you speak the negative, you multiply it. But when you speak of the positive, you attract more of it. But let's be real. Research shows that cancer survivors and those with serious illnesses often struggle with depression and anxiety, even when in remission. It's like they feel guilty. This has been their identity. And it's not a weakness, it's reality. But here's the danger. If we only repeat the story of our suffering, we risk falling in love with it. We begin to identify with it, and it can keep us stuck. No matter what that is, no matter what it is. This doesn't mean you have to have cancer to do this. This is for everyone. The breakthrough comes when we see ourselves in a different way, when we choose a new identity, when we decide to step into a new story, like Nathan did. See, when he became Scooter, negativity attracts more heaviness, but positivity attracts courage, solutions, and people who lift us up, lift us higher. So who you believe yourself to be is who you become. So here's the challenge for this week. Ask yourself, what part of me says I can't? And what new choice will help me say, but I can? So I might say, Lee can't, but I can. What's going to be that gets you focused, that puts you into that, puts you into that new mindset? I always say, the old Lee couldn't do this, but the new Lee can. Okay? So when somebody asks you how you're doing this week, don't answer with a storm. Answer in a way that lifts you. And then notice the ripple it creates in them as well. Let's not fall in love with our suffering. Let's fall in love with who you can become. Have a meaningful week. Make this a meaningful week. It's up to us, right? I'm so grateful for you. I'm grateful that you're here. And if this hits the button with you, send it to somebody you care about, somebody you love. Let them benefit as well. Have a meaningful week. I look forward to talking to you next week. Bye-bye.